All right, and what I want you to do, Mr. Jonah, is get right up to your microphone, and you want it to be about an inch or two away from your mouth, like where I'm at now, and that way you can speak softly and be heard very well.
Right here?
A little closer. Pull the microphone. No, pull the microphone closer to you. Yeah, there we go. Tilt it up. All right, that's a perfect angle. All right, give me a testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Oh, he's booming.
Do it again. Dispatcher voice. Testing 1, 2, 3.
All right, do the alphabet now. I'm gonna get a little longer.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K,
Jonah,
L.
stop.
You did a great job.
I can do the phonetic one too. You want that one?
I was just entranced.
Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta.
What do they call that type of music you can just go to sleep through? What's that noise, the soft noise?
Oh, the white noise.
The white noise.
Yeah, that's what Jonah...
Good rain sounds.
Jonah is white noise.
Yeah.
All right. 3 and 2 and 1. Welcome to episode 74 of Black, White, and Blue in the South, the podcast discussing Democratic politics with a Southern flair. I'm Bill Kimler.
I'm Jumelle Brooks.
And I'm Jonah Cooley.
And we're coming to you from Greenwood, South Carolina, a little red county in a very red state. If you like what you hear and think others ought to be listening as well, then you need to hit pause right now and leave a little rating for our show. Write a review, tell your friends about us, interact with us on social media, or better yet, stop attacking pedophiles. Yes, you heard me, Jumelle. We need to leave those poor picked-on pedos alone. At least that's according to Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Have you heard this yet?
Yes, I did. Oh, my goodness.
Well, let us go over and listen to what Mr. Cruz had to say on the subject.
Now, Senator Booker also said we should have bipartisan agreement. I think that's a great idea. We should have bipartisan agreement. How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders? How about we all come together and say, let's stop rape? How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles? I want you to look at what happened when the National Guard went to D.C.
Well, you heard it there first, ladies and gentlemen.
Every time I hear it, I just go straight face.
But if you attack his wife, then he'll endorse you for president.
Yeah.
Right. It was attacking his wife. Wasn't his father as well?
His father killed JFK.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So anyhow, that was quite the about face from a stalwart of the Republican Party, wasn't it?
Yes.
It's amazing how far they've fallen.
Yes.
Well, let us know what you think by dropping us a note at blackwhiteblueinthesouth@gmail.com. You can also interact with us. Jonah, did you know? On Facebook.
I did know that.
On Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Threads, on Blue Sky,
All the young people.
and on Mastodon.
Yeah.
Just take a quick peek at those award-winning show notes of ours on your podcast app where you can find links to all of those accounts, links to the news items we talk about, and more. Woof.
I like the way he threw in the Jonah. Did you know?
Yeah, it put me on the spot.
Well, let's open up our show today. We have an action-packed show, and I am super excited by it. But first, we want to thank Teresa Goodman for being an amazing guest on our last 2 episodes. She was so good, it lasted like a 2-hour recording.
Yeah.
And you'll want to check out the 2-part episodes, 71 and 72, that we released over the last 2 weeks. Gotten a lot of great feedback.
Yeah, definitely one of Greenwood's hidden gems, if only people knew like how competent and how just professional, well-rounded she is.
Indeed.
Very knowledgeable.
Indeed. I also want to give a shout out to whoever it was that downloaded all 72 of our episodes on Saturday. Jonah, was that you?
Might have been. Maybe.
I just saw a spike and I went and looked and what episode was getting the hit? It was all of them. Everyone from the beginning.
Wow.
All 72 episodes got downloaded.
We should have had
need
a
to do
sound
my
effect
homework.
for cheering.
I know.
Like, yay.
I mean, that's easily over 80 hours of you and I in somebody's head. That's
very effective. I like it.
I also want to talk about something that you and I experienced a couple of Sundays ago.
Yeah.
Since we last recorded, Jumelle and I went up to the Center Stage Theater in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yes.
And we watched the musical, the Tony Award-winning musical, Come From Away.
Yeah.
Jonah, have you heard about this musical?
That's the one about 9/11, right?
It is. Now, it's not the cheeriest thing to go see a 9/11 musical, but it was about a true story that involved our guests from episode 55 about a whole bunch, thousands of people in over 30-some planes that were traveling across the Atlantic when the events of 9/11 unfolded.
Yeah.
And these planes were diverted without any information to the passengers to a small island town in Newfoundland, Canada called Gander. And they happened to have a large airport there that was accommodating military transports for refueling, but it was the only airport for hundreds of miles or kilometers if you're Canadian that could handle all of these massive passenger planes. So here's this 7,000 person town of Gander, Newfoundland, suddenly having to receive 7,000 people from all over the world who were suddenly diverted to their little town. And this musical was the story of both the people on the ground and the people in the planes.
Interesting. The airport was able to equip and handle that many people, but the town itself was not prepared for that many people.
No. How could you prepare? Anyhow, we could easily retell the entire story.
It was really nice.
Go back to episode 55 and you can hear it in gory detail from people who were there.
Yeah.
But the musical, oh my gosh, I was an emotional wreck afterwards.
They did an amazing job.
It was funny. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It was goosebump, emotional. The music and the acting and just the performers.
They did so well. You kind of felt like you were there. So I felt like I might have been one of the passengers on the plane that was waiting to get off. I felt like I was the person that was there meeting people and having people take me into their homes that didn't even know me. They did a really good job telling that story.
Hey, tilt your mic up again. It
am
may
I?
have fallen down, but tilt it upwards.
No, you just want me to eat the mic every day.
I do. Eat the mic. Eat that mic.
I don't think it's got a lot of calories to it. Though. It's not.
I should try it.
There's the name of our episode.
Eat the mic.
Eat that mic. This theater itself should be commended. It was a smallish theater. I would say maybe 200 attendees. Maybe. But it was very intimate. It wasn't like the Peace Center, which was a huge... A lot of the people that I went with had seen it already at the Peace Center, which is a large auditorium.
Yes.
My goodness. I was crying throughout most of it. I hope I didn't embarrass you too much.
You didn't.
As I was sitting next to you. I was sobbing away like a little girl. But it hit all the right triggers. So it did. If you're an emotional individual, this is something you'll want to see. Now, I know the national touring ended a couple of years ago, but some of the little cities are holding their own productions of Come From Away. But if you're also on Apple TV, I believe you can watch a professional recording. They released it in honor of them winning the Tonys. So I recommend that.
Yeah.
And then final note, Jumelle has to leave early today.
Duty calls.
So we got to stay tight on time. But Jumelle, even if you have to leave,
I know what you're going to do.
I can carry on the show without you.
I know what you're going to do.
And make it sound like you never left. Right? Because I have up on my screen right now a soundboard, a Jumelle soundboard that I've been working on. Hold on, I'm going to make sure the volume is good. Listen to this.
Okay.
You hear that?
Yes.
That's terrifying.
Yes.
It's going to get the AI, too.
Yeah. The volume is awfully low. I want the volume to be higher. You got to hear this.
Wow. Gosh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow.
See? We can carry on the show without her. Like, Jumelle, what did you watch on TV last night?
Fox News.
See? Yeah, you have now been made redundant. Why are you here today?
I got to bring you greatness, right?
Oh, okay. Well, I see you have a high opinion of yourself.
No way.
Do you enjoy what we're doing today?
Oh, my goodness. Okay. I'm excited. Gosh. Bill, is that not scary?
Yeah. That's horrifying.
Like, this is a guy you better make sure you stay on his good side.
He's going to train the AI models.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even know who the real Jumelle is.
Yeah. I'm Jumelle Brooks.
All right. Well, anyhow. Before we interview Josh over here, so we got to talk about why we brought you here, right? Jonah.
I was going to say we might interview Jonah, too.
Yeah, why
wait. Jonah, is that your first name, Josh?
Yeah, I was going to ask when he was getting here.
Oh, my gosh, Josh. Well, anyhow, it was polite of you to continue the conversation.
No, that was a delayed reaction.
I've gotten Jonathan, I've gotten Noah, I've gotten everything except Jonah.
I've gotten asshole, but that's a different story. Before we interview Jonah over here, we should do an icebreaker.
Okay.
Because this is his first time doing a podcast.
Okay.
So was that the soundboard or was that you? I can't tell anymore.
That's really mean.
That was you? Okay.
Oh, gosh.
Good to know.
I got to come up with new words. You are so done.
In order to break the ice, I have a game to play because he looks kind of nervous, right? So let's play a little game together to gain some comfort with each other, to interact and kind of loosen the mood here. How's that sound? All right. Over the summer, Politico published an article titled "The Woke Words Democrats Should Cut from Their Vocabulary." Are you familiar with Politico?
Unfortunately.
Yes, okay. They were quoting another party called Third Way. So I'm going to quote from the article here. In a new memo shared exclusively with Politico, the center-left think tank Third Way, center-left, is circulating a list of 45 words and phrases they want Democrats to avoid using, alleging the terms put, quote, a wall between us and everyday people of all races, religions, and ethnicities. It's a set of words that Third Way suggests people simply do not say, yet they hear them from Democrats. Woke words. That's what they've got a list of. 45 woke words and phrases. So here's the game. I'm going to present 3 words or phrases, and you have to guess which one of those 3 was one that Third Way has tagged as a no-no to use.
Okay.
You understand the rules? Simple enough?
Yeah.
Okay, before we begin, I'll go ahead and share 5 of their 45 words and phrases so you get a feel for what kind of things have they flagged as things you should not be using out there. Get an idea. So here are 5 that I picked at random. Phrases you should avoid as Democrats in talking with people. Do not use the word microaggression. Do not use the word or phrase cultural appropriation. Stay away. That's a no-no. Do not use the phrase food insecurity. Do not use the word dead naming. And do not use the acronym BIPOC. Do you know what BIPOC is?
No.
Oh, that's Black, Indigenous, People of Color. Black or Indigenous.
Wow.
It's sort of a way of trying to separate Black and Indigenous people from the same category as like Asian people.
Yeah.
He got it right. Jonah
right.
pays attention, so he knows those phrases. Anyhow, you can't say that ever again. That was the last time you're allowed to use that phrase.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what's throwing me off here. Okay, go ahead, Bill.
Well, these phrases, according to Third Way, have a subtext about them. They convey additional messages if you drop them into a conversation. So we want to avoid them. So anyhow, let's play the game. I'll provide 3 words. You tell me which is a Third Way, no way.
He got the music.
Welcome to the We Knock Woke game, where we try to avoid words and phrases that alienate us from the general population. I am your host, Bill Kimler, and we have 2 contestants today, Mr. Jacob Cooley. Jonah Cooley, just kidding. And we also have Dr. Jumelle Brooks, who knows what none of these words mean anyway.
Exactly.
It's going to be an entertaining game. Let's go through 5 rounds and see who emerges victorious.
Okay. Let's go.
All right, round 1.
Okay.
Here are the first 3 words. You tell me which one is forbidden by Third Way. Incarcerated people. Both sides of the aisle, or fascism?
Ding.
Oh, we have somebody buzzing in.
Is it fascism?
We have an answer for fascism.
Is it,
No, we can say that?
Is it incarcerated people? They want us to say prisoners.
Do they want us to say prisoners?
I guess so. We have to say it.
Oh, I can't think like those people.
Jonah's right.
I can't think like them. Oh, let's go.
So we have 1-0.
Yeah.
Jonah. Now, Jonah, you get to answer. No, I guess whoever buzzes in, that's how we're going to do it.
Okay.
So it is 1-0. Jonah is ahead of Jumelle. No, you're allowed to say both sides of the aisle, and you're allowed to say fascism. But you can't say incarcerated people. According to Third Way, this says the criminal is the victim. The victim is an afterthought.
I'm going to struggle with this game because it's not clicking to me. Okay, go.
All right, round 2.
How could they say that?
The 3 phrases are cultural appropriation,
diversity. You already gave us that.
Oh, did I give you that already?
Yeah, I was about to say buzz.
Oh,
yeah.
Boy, this is why I don't prep late at night, right? Because I goof things up. Yeah, I gave that away as one of my example 5 words, didn't I?
Yeah.
All right, that was just me seeing if you paid attention. All right, we'll skip round 2, go right to round 3. Ex-desert, like food desert or healthcare desert. Toxic masculinity or body shaming. Which of those 3 are you not allowed to say? We have Jumelle buzzing in.
You can't say anything like desert.
Okay, ex-desert.
No, you said that in your example.
I did not. All right,
Toxic-
Jonah, go ahead.
Toxic masculinity. Is that the one?
Body shaming.
Really?
Body shaming is a phrase that, according to them, says, I'm more empathetic than you, and you are callous to hurting others' feelings.
Oh, boy.
So don't use the phrase body shaming. All right, that
Anything
was
they're
round
starting
3.
to sound a little woke.
Yeah.
I'm just...
All right, let's try another. We're going to round 4 now.
I got to at least get one right.
We're going to round 4.
Go.
The 3 words are cisgender, the phrase social liberal, fiscal conservative, or 3 climate resilience. Do you need a repeat? Cisgender, social liberal, fiscal conservative, or climate resilience? Jonah wants to go first.
I'm going to say climate resilience because I don't know what that is.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that they would, and we're saying words that are woke.
Words that are woke that you should not use in conversation.
So they don't want us to say cisgender.
You are correct, Jumelle.
Yeah.
According to them, using cisgender in conversation says your views on traditional genders and gender roles are at best quaint.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, now we actually have a tie here. It is 1-1.
Do we have a tie?
yeah.
We have a tie. I've been keeping score. So we have a tie 1-1. We go into our 5th and final question. Let's see how you do. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The 3 choices are privilege, triggering, or safe space.
Ooh.
Privilege, triggering, or safe space. All right, Jameel's buzzing in first.
I'm going to say privilege.
Jonah, did you have a different answer? I'm curious.
I was going to go with privilege. And if she was wrong, I was going to go with safe space.
Yeah.
Well, this actually was a trick question. All 3 words are on the list. Privilege, triggering, and safe space. You would have gotten a point regardless. This is one of those give everybody a trophy moments.
Yeah.
Again, with the wokeism.
Yeah.
They were all on the list. According to Third Way, those 3 words say, I'm more empathetic than you, and you are callous to hurting others' feelings. So anyhow, we thank you for playing Avoid the Woke Word Game.
Oh my God. Bill, what if somebody makes this a game? Can't you see this like coming on 6 p.m.
After Jeopardy.
or something?
Well, if you need the full list of words to avoid, of course, we will have that list available in our show notes. Take a look at that article, study it up, and whatever you do, do not use them in casual conversation. Otherwise, I don't know, you'll be branded as woke. So anyhow, how'd you enjoy that game? Should we have a round 2 at some point?
Yeah.
No.
I struggled with that game though. Like I could not turn my brain, I can't turn my brain off from being aware.
And at points, it felt more like they were just worried about using these long phrases.
Yeah.
2-word phrases.
Or they were just afraid to be honest and say what we really mean.
Right.
Like why we got to tiptoe around what we know to make sure that the other individuals feel okay with what we're saying. I don't think we got to tiptoe.
No.
I don't like
I think
the
what they
list.
should have done was offer an alternative phrase. If they're going to tell you what words not to use, what should we use to convey the same meanings that those words are used to fill in? You know, if we wanted to talk about safe spaces, right?
Yeah.
We need them.
Yeah.
You know, some of us more than others.
Yeah.
If you can't say that phrase, what should you say? And they didn't offer that. It was just all slapping of the wrists.
Yeah.
Hold on. No, that phrase is not allowed either. Now I'm nervous. I don't know what I can say or what I can't say.
I know.
All right. Anyhow,
Trump's America.
Yeah.
let us move to our special guest for today.
Yay, Jonah.
A black, white, and blue in the South exclusive.
We welcome Jonah Cooley to Black, White, and Blue in the South. thank you for showing up today.
Thank you for my CNN introduction music.
Exactly. And if I'm not mistaken, you said this is your first podcast ever.
This is.
You have been on the news, though, you said.
When I was in high school, I did robotics, and my robotics team was on WYFF News 4 out of Greenville.
Oh, cool. Cool. Don't you love that voice?
I do.
He's supposed to be in front of a
Why
mic.
do you think I had him say the entire alphabet and not have him stop? That may be all we released today.
That's it. Just the alphabet.
That's the whole
Exactly.
podcast.
Jonah's version.
So, Jonah, why did we invite you to our show today? Tell us a bit about yourself and what people may find relevant to the type of topics we talk about.
Well, I'm currently serving as the executive committeeman for the Abbeville County Democratic Party.
Amen.
And as I understand it, at 20 years old, I am currently the youngest member of the South Carolina Democratic Party Executive Committee.
Cool.
And very recently, I'm the founder and president of Lander University College Democrats here in beautiful Greenwood, South Carolina.
Yay!
That's fantastic. I'm having too much fun with the soundboard. I may go solo with this show. Me and the soundboard.
Yes. Okay. Bill, you're going to have me not say okay and yes. Not. I want to stop. You asked me a question earlier and I just nodded and you didn't catch it.
No, I did miss that. I did miss that. Jonah, I don't even know where to begin with you. Actually, I do know where I want to begin with you.
Okay.
Because we actually go back quite a few years. This is not the first time we've talked or met each other.
Right.
And I don't even remember how we met, but I do know you showed up to one of our Greenwood County Democratic Party meetings and gave a speech that was one of the first, if not the first, that ever elicited a standing ovation. We don't give standing ovations. We give polite applause, but a standing O, we've never given that before. And I'm going to play a little clip of your speech from back then, and so people can get an idea of why we're excited to have you today. So here's Jonah back in 2024.
In order to win this battle, we have to recruit young people in this country. I don't know how to break it to you. Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi are not Benjamin Button. They're not getting any younger. We have to be able to win over young people in this country, but more importantly than that, we have to get them to understand, why does government affect them? Why does it matter for a 15-year-old to even care what's going on in the government? And as part of that, we can't win them over with some sort of an idealistic reminder of a past that they're too young to remember. They don't know what the 1960s were like. They don't remember LBJ or JFK or MLK or anyone like that. They weren't alive then. I wasn't alive then. And we also can't win over young people with candidates that they have no way of relating to. It's hard getting a young gay black woman to vote for an old straight white man. I will admit that to you. But we have to also be willing to show them a positive vision for the future of our country.
Wow, what was that like watching yourself with the emotional music
About
playing in the background?
40 pounds lighter and with gel in my hair and that I don't wear anymore. Well, the funny thing about that speech was I got the video back from you about a week or two later, I think. And the whole speech was essentially about, it was right after the debate between Trump and Biden. And so a lot of the speech was dedicated.
That was a dark time.
Yeah.
Why you should still vote for Joe Biden, even though I know you really don't want to anymore.
Yeah.
And I got the speech back from you. It was Sunday, July 21st, when I got the speech back. And as I am uploading it to YouTube, I get a notification on my phone that Joe Biden has dropped out of the 2024 election.
Wow.
And I said, okay, well, I guess I don't need to upload this anymore. need to write a whole new speech for Kamala Harris.
Tell me how you got your eyes opened or interested in politics. I remember when I was in college, and to me, what little I paid attention to in politics was more out of humor or irony. Like we found jokiness in it. That was back during the Bill Clinton versus George Bush versus Ross Perot days. So that's when I was in college. Mm-hmm. And we were just kind of making fun of everything at that point as juniors and seniors. But you have an awareness that I don't see in many 18, 19, 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
Well, my dad worked in local government growing up. He was the county administrator in McCormick County and then became the director of Abbeville County, and now he's the finance director in Edgefield County. So that was part of it. And then part of it also came from, as a little kid, I have an underbite, and so it gave me some speech problems. I had a little bit of a lisp and some other things. So I would watch the news, and I would start mimicking, and that's also why, I'm born and raised in South Carolina, don't have that thick of an accent. I would mimic the way they talked on the news in order to overcome a lot of that stuff. So the way I always tell that story is it did two things. It made me aware of what was going on, and it also gave me the ability to sort of empathize with people who felt like they didn't have a voice or their voices were being taken away.
Would you say your family in general was a Democratic or liberal-leaning family?
Absolutely not. My parents met at Erskine Theological Seminary.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And they are through and through Southern Baptists, but they are not Trump Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
My dad, the first person he ever voted for, this shows how old my dad was when I was born, was Ronald Reagan, was the first person he ever voted for. And he left the presidential ticket blank last year.
Wow.
Because he said, I just can't bring myself to vote for someone like that.
Yeah.
So they were definitely still parents who let me sort of gauge what I thought and not just adopt whatever they felt.
Which was important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Are you an only child or do you have siblings?
I have two older sisters.
And what are their political leanings, if you don't mind sharing?
The oldest one is also more to the right, and then the middle one is probably even further to the left than I am.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. Well, it's a mixed family, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's good Thanksgiving conversation.
But I have that in my family, too. And
Yeah.
it turns out that I've got two younger siblings, and I would say my brother is similar in thought to me, but my sister probably is more central right. And then she's the youngest one, the baby of the family.
Oh, wow.
So you really can't put a formula to this as to who is going to fall into what category.
Yeah, I think environment plays a role on that too. So even though you come up in one area, as you transition to different environments, whether it's work environments, like living arrangements, environments, whatever those are, I think that they have the ability to alter which way you lean even more. So just being able to come up in an environment that supports your growth or whichever way you choose to lean is what helps really craft the person. But I think it's I don't want to say this word because they're going to say this word might be on the list, but it's fluid.
Yeah. Now, so even though your father worked as, I guess he wasn't an elected official, he was more appointed by the government?
Right. He was selected by the county council.
Right. Although he was involved in a government role, I don't know, to most kids that would just be like, hey, dad's going to work and this is who he works for, but it doesn't equate to politics. Did you guys talk about politics in the household?
I mean, the news was definitely on a lot in the house, and we would talk about what was going on in the county. So there's a lot of things with local and state government and history that I have an interest in that definitely most people my age don't care at all about. But it wasn't the only topic that we had.
Okay. No, I get it. And I also want to thank you. It's been a couple of years, but Jonah showed up when I signed on to run for office.
Oh, cool.
When I went and declared and filled out the paperwork, Jonah was there in his cheerleader's outfit, some pom-poms. He even brought some friends with him.
Oh.
And him and quite a couple of other people were there to cheer me on when I went in and signed the dotted line.
That fits his personality.
And I don't know if you remember the first time we met or not.
No, I don't.
Chris Sally from Anderson
Yes.
had come to speak in Abbeville, and I came to that meeting, and you were there, and I realized, Bill Kimler, that name rings a bell. I was following you on Twitter. I had started following you in 2022 and didn't even realize that was you behind me.
Oh, wow.
Because that was when I really started to get into state politics.
So like I was a celebrity.
Yeah, exactly. I was
Yeah,
like, wow,
Bill.
I got to get an autograph.
Oh, man, I need to monetize that somehow. I'll send an autograph for $5 after the show if
For
you
$5.
wish.
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
So
Higher than my rate.
you've gotten involved with the Abbeville Democratic Party, and so that's where we met. And now you're one of their executive committeemen. Have you gone to a state committee meeting yet?
I have been to 2 now.
And what's that experience been like? Was it you and a bunch of 50-plus-year-old people, and you felt out of place?
I mean, basically, we meet at the Rice School of Law in Columbia. It's the University of South Carolina School of Law. And executive committee members from all 46 counties are there. And I took one look around the room the first meeting I went to, and I said, okay, so I am the youngest person on this committee. That's going to be something.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to get taken seriously to an extent with that, and probably very hard to voice any opinions because oftentimes, and this is something that we could speak to a little bit as well, that sometimes the Democratic Party will say, well, we have to get young people involved, get young people engaged, but then don't want to listen to young people when we try to. And so it almost feels like the party and politics in general, a lot of political leaders just want to use young people as props to an extent.
Well, that's why you're here. You're a prop for our
Exactly.
show, right? We want to try to get into the right demographic.
We value you.
Need those
Jumelle.
18 to 25-year-olds. And so you threw one in the chair.
Yeah.
I know what this is.
Yeah. It's a setup.
Exactly.
We filled our quota for the year. Now we're going to go back to some old people
I'm the
next week.
diversity hire. You gonna
Yeah.
get Chuck Grassley in here?
But,
next
but
time?
you say that you felt like maybe you were a token young person or you weren't taken seriously. Did you attempt to exercise your voice in that meeting, or did you hang back, being it was maybe your first time in that situation, just to more watch and learn?
I did a little bit. I talked about some of the things that I think the Democratic Party needs to do to engage young people, and I said, I'm just going to give my 2 cents worth. And I admitted, I obviously haven't been around as long as a lot of these people, so I might not have the experience, but I know what I've seen. And I know what I've seen being a Democrat in a rural area, in rural upstate South Carolina, where I'm one of very few Democrats, in a lot of my circles. So I just shared what I knew and
What were some of the advice that you offered?
Well, one of the things I know we talked about, the sort of avoiding wokeness, and this doesn't go into that, but it's more so Democrats have started to talk a lot like graduate school professors. But with a lot of the words and phrases we use, we talk about people and don't talk to them.
Ooh,
And we
that's deep.
talk about issues and don't speak to the issue. So I know Governor Andy Beshear has talked about before, I've never known anybody who had a substance abuse disorder, but I have known people who had an addiction. I've never known anybody who was food insecure, but I've known people who were going hungry. And when we talk about these issues like they're not human issues, real human, raw issues that people are actually facing in their day-to-day lives, how do we expect those people to trust us to fix those problems if we're just treating it like a study?
Yeah. Most times they don't even know what we're talking about.
Exactly.
So it's about, like in communications in college, they'll teach you communications 101. It is, or even in high school, you got to know your audience.
Right.
So know your audience so they can pick up what you're trying to say. I think that's good. But I also want to tell you that I think that you being the youngest one, and I know you feel like this is foreign territory with being that executive commitment, but I believe that you're going to do well there. And I think they're going to listen. One of the biggest things that the Democratic Party has been saying for seems like centuries is that we've got to get the young people involved. I think they're at a point where they know, especially after this last presidential election, I think they're at the point now where someone is talking, they're going to listen and try to implement. So use your voice, because here's what I'm thinking. Even if it doesn't turn 46 counties, if it turns 10 counties, that is going to show a favorable outcome at the next election. Keep using your voice.
Now, Jonah isn't just talking about getting young people involved. He's actively doing it.
Yeah.
And as he introduced himself earlier, he started the first ever, as far as I know, Lander University Democratic Party Club.
There was one at one time. I was told by the dean of my college that we had college Democrats and college Republicans, but both of them there was so much arguing going on, not between the Democrats and the Republicans, but within the groups, that they both ended up dissolving and forming what is now the Political Science Association, which is a nonpartisan group that accomplishes some of the same goals.
Well, I have to say, you kicked it off this year without any encouragement from anybody. You just went and did it. So kudos, and I'm always happy when people take initiative on their own. And I think you found some success, if I'm not mistaken.
We had, I think, 30 people show up to our first meeting.
Yay.
And then I believe we had 20 at our last meeting. And so we're doing great things later this month. We have Dr. Sylvia Wright is going to be coming to campus. I'm very excited about
Sylvia.
that.
Yeah.
And she's going to be speaking in LC 300, which is one of our lecture halls, because I'm guessing that's going to have a pretty high turnout.
Yeah.
And of course, she's fantastic and is 100% the real deal. And is going to make a great superintendent of education.
Now, I know that you admire Governor Gavin Newsom because your social media posts have mirrored what Newsom is doing when he's mocking Trump's own social media posts. And you've kind of adopted that means. Has that been successful?
When I asked one of the professors, will you be our faculty advisor? He said, I have one condition. You need to write all of your social media posts like Gavin Newsom.
So Jonah had one, and I'm going to quote him. It's all in caps. And he wrote, "We would like to thank the over 20 Lander Patriots who came to our first big, beautiful meeting yesterday. We completely filled LC 374, and we will fill it again at our next meeting on October 7th at 6:30. Soon, we will have more people than the very low-energy Ben Carson, who came to campus last year and possibly only had 4 people in attendance. Thank you for your attention to this matter." Exclamation point.
Well done.
I personally write all of them too.
All right, and
It's
I
the highlight
wonder,
of my life.
I wonder, is that going over the head of the people, or do they get it?
Some people it does, and then some people I think get it. I know my mom was like, when you say stuff in all caps, that means you're yelling. I said, it's a thing. It's a whole thing.
Exactly. I also found an article about you on Piedmont Technical College's website.
Yeah.
And you had completed some type of tuition-free coursework in a dual enrollment program. I don't want to get into details of the program, but they had an interesting quote that you kind of alluded to. It had, Jonah Cooley overcame a speech impediment by watching the evening news on television and modeling his enunciation after the anchors and reporters. Do you see it?
That's it.
I see it.
Yeah.
It says,
Yeah.
Nowadays, the Abbeville High School graduate speaks in a smooth baritone. Do
Yeah.
you hear it?
Yeah.
I hear it. And can clearly articulate his plans for the future. So what are your plans for the future then?
I know what I've suggested, but I don't think he's listening to me yet.
I
so.
know what a lot of people have suggested. What has been suggested to me is a presidential run, and I think 2040 would be the first one I'd be eligible for. Right now, I'm studying public administration and public history at Lander University, and once I graduate, I'm planning on getting a master's of public administration and either working for a nonprofit or working in government,
Right.
being one of those dirty bureaucrats.
Now, we chatted a little bit in a group text yesterday about issues facing young people, and I had asked you to provide your top 3. What are the 3 things you feel most passionately about? I'm going to repeat your response. You wrote, my top 3 would be engaging young people, combating climate change and gun violence, and affordability.
Okay.
Now, I need to call out, that was cheating because your second issue was really 2 issues, combating climate change
It was.
and gun violence. That's like rubbing the genie's lamp and then making your third wish more wishes, right? So you can't do that. So you snuck in 4, but we'll let you have it since you're our guest.
Yeah.
Which of those do you want to speak on here that you want to?
I'll
Tell you what I found interesting that was not on your list that I thought would have been, would be the Israeli-Palestine situation and the genocide in Palestine. Because I hear that a lot.
And that was actually something that we spoke about at our last meeting, which by coincidence was on October 7th.
Ooh, that was the 1-year anniversary or
And-
2-year anniversary.
And I started out by saying we did not do this intentionally. It just happened. We do it. We have biweekly meetings every other Tuesday. And it just so happened that that was the Tuesday it fell on. So what I'll briefly say about that is when you block food and aid from coming into an area and you indiscriminately bomb civilians and you have high-ranking members of the Netanyahu government saying that the real strategy here is to remove the Palestinian people from that territory, that is a genocide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it should terrify every American to know that our government and our tax dollars footed the bill on this genocide.
Yeah.
It was bad enough with Rwanda. I know people talked about how the Clinton administration should have done more, but this would be like if we were actively supplying them with those machetes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we're dealing with right now. And then we've got a president who wants to turn the Gaza Strip into Trump Riviera.
There was a video clip that I saw. I wish I actually had it prepped because I didn't expect to talk about this, but there was a video clip of a Trump administration spokesperson. I don't know if he was the ambassador. I don't think he was. It was some other official, a name I didn't recognize. Mm-hmm. But he was standing in Tel Aviv with Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump by his side.
Yes.
And he was addressing a crowd, outdoor crowd, about the hostage release that was coming up and the deal that was struck. And as soon as he said, "I want to thank Benjamin Netanyahu," he was drowned out by boos from the Israelis in attendance in this outdoor event. And he couldn't get another word out.
Wow.
Every time he tried to open his mouth, he got loud boos from Israelis.
As he should have.
Right. Yeah. So you can just see where in history is going to remember everything that has transpired, and it's going to be against those who had enabled the situation as it was.
It's just another thing of me supporting that. I'm saying, we are working, we as in they are working very hard to erase history.
Yeah.
But they are writing the same story again. So when we say history repeats itself, it really is. And they are going to try to hide what they're going to do again and again and again. This is ridiculous.
Now, you brought up gun violence, and I'll pick one topic for you. Let's talk about gun violence, because there was a headline just last night out of Fox News that there was a shooting with injuries, and the headline said, "At Lander University." Tell me what you know about that, and are you okay?
There was a
He's
shooting.
okay.
It was on, I think, the intersection of, I've heard either Reynolds and Durst or Reynolds and Cambridge, or Durst and Cambridge.
Yeah.
So is
somewhere
that
in that
at
area.
Lander University?
It's in the area of Lander, but it wasn't on the campus.
Correct.
And that's all that I really know about it. We all got an alert from LUPD, Lander University Police, about it. That's all I really know at this time. And I don't think that any Lander students were injured. And from what I understand, it wasn't related to the college. They just felt it was important for us to know.
I saw somebody I know put a comment under that Fox News post saying this had nothing to do with the university. It was off campus. Maybe it was a half mile, but it has nothing to do with the university. It didn't involve university students. And that Fox News had put that headline together because it triggered the impression of a school shooting for clickbait.
Yeah.
Which is a valid argument.
Yeah.
So, okay, but you're okay.
I am. Yeah, I was at Taco Bell then.
Okay. I don't know what was more dangerous, being on Durst or being at Taco Bell.
That beefy 5-layer.
Yeah.
And we say that in jest so Jumelle does not get us sued.
Yes. Allegedly.
So tell us what you want us to know, or your impressions on gun violence and what we should do about it.
So one of the things that we talk about a lot now is mental health with young people. I remember hearing once that the average teenager today has the same anxiety level as a psychiatric patient 50 years ago. And part of that, of course, is social media, technology, that we have cyberbullying now. We have social media has enabled more body image problems as well. But part of it also comes down to we now have a generation of people who were raised cowering in the corner of a classroom because they were practicing what they would do if someone came in with a gun. And checking all of the exits at the movie theaters in case a shooting were to take place. And it's to the point where you see a shooting happens and you almost think, oh, only 2 people? Because we've seen so many that have been shootings where 20 people have been killed, and we have government leaders who've refused again and again to address the issue. And instead they'll point to mental health issues, or in the case of this recent shooting in Utah, they will try and make it into an issue of taking away transgender people's guns. Because the one thing that Americans love more than guns is discrimination. And that was the case when Ronald Reagan was the governor of California, and the only gun law that he passed was to take away guns from the Black Panther Party.
Yeah.
So the gun issue is another one that we could really get into a whole topic here about big money in politics, where the NRA checks coming in is more important to a lot of our politicians than the lives of our citizens. The same thing could really be said of Gaza as well, that those AIPAC donations mean more to them.
Yeah, I agree with you about the NRA. Rank and file citizens who don't get money out of the deal are so strongly passionate about infringing upon their Second Amendment rights that they don't feel like training should be required, or that there should be background checks, and that it should be a free-for-all. They don't believe in red flag laws, where if you are committed or accused of a violent crime, that you should not have your rights taken away.
See, I think there's this whole mentality that the person with the most guns is the best person, like the biggest person, the safest person. And there's also this whole mentality of trying to convince people, the lowest of the low, that you have to make sure you protect what you own. And the only way that they see they protect what they own is through guns. It is who has the biggest guns, then that's the one that makes the biggest noise. And no one is really considering the attributes or the contributing factors to having those guns and not being trained. I don't think that people really have a problem with the training. I think people who are in opposition have a problem with being told what to do. Yeah. Like, just don't tell me that I need to have training because I know how to use a gun. I've been hunting since I was 4.5 years old. It's an insult for you to make it look like I don't know. I think that's their biggest issue. If we were to say, have at it, maybe it would be different. But I think it's coming from, they feel as though someone is trying to mandate, enforce, and push them into a direction that they don't feel they need to be told what to do because they've been doing it this way for so long.
So, Jonah, as we wrap up our time directly with you, do you feel like you have a political future, or are you still weighing your options at this early stage? What do you envision 10 years from now?
Oh, 10 years from now.
Okay, how about 10 minutes from now? What are you envisioning?
God.
Beefy 5-layer burrito from Taco Bell.
Not again.
Yeah, we'll all be envisioning that shortly if we hang around you.
Yeah.
I would say it depends on what God and my country need of me.
Yeah.
I was once asked by a reporter with the Press and Banner if I would ever run for president, and I said, I'll leave that one up to God and the American people.
Yeah. Also keep in mind, Jonah, that being a part of the political world takes so many different avenues. It doesn't have to be a candidate. So being able to find that niche and fill it so that what should happen does happen will be impactful as well.
What is it that you're majoring in your studies at Lander right now?
I am double majoring in public administration and public history. So it's technically both of those are concentrations. So the actual degrees are political science and history.
Yeah.
You say public history.
Public history.
Is there a private history that you could have majored in?
There is. That one's the one where we lock all the books. No. Public history is basically, there's two parts to it. One is the study of how do we make history more accessible? And then the other part of it is how do we maintain local history, state history, oral histories. So it's basically history for people who don't want to work for a college.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that's deep.
Well, we hope you can hang around with us as we move into our next segment here. You ready?
Your South Carolina representatives at work.
Jonah, you seem to be very in tune with what's happening in state politics, and we have a segment every one of our shows where we discuss what's happening in Columbia. Now, the summertime is supposed to be a quiet time, at least summer and fall.
Yeah.
They're not in session. They don't come back into session until January, but they have been busy. They have been meeting, and when we spoke with Vicki Ringer back in episode 71,
yes,
we talked about a Senate bill that was getting a hearing in October. The first week of October, and that hearing has happened. And that was on State Senate Bill S-323, the Unborn Child Protection Act. So they've met, they've solicited public testimony, and I want to talk about that today. But before we get to any clips, I want to summarize what's in the bill. So let me read the following from this article from the ACLU about this total abortion ban. They wrote, South Carolina Senate Bill 323 would create a total abortion ban with almost no exceptions. It would equate abortion with homicide, and it would make it a felony to provide information about obtaining an abortion via the phone or internet. By changing the definition of legal contraceptive and adding a new definition of human embryo, the bill would also open the door for new restrictions on currently available methods of birth control and family planning. The bill would, and here's 8 bullet points, the bill would make abortion a felony equivalent to the homicide of a person born alive, allow imprisonment up to 30 years for a person having an abortion or aiding in abortion, prohibit transporting a minor out of state to obtain an abortion, open the door to restrictions on birth control by amending the definition of illegal contraceptive to exclude anything that prevents ovulation or implantation of a fertilized ovum, and Vicky talked about all the common things that we have now that would be illegal under this. It would open the door to restrictions on in vitro fertilization, IVF, by defining a human embryo as a fertilized egg or zygote. Make it unlawful to possess any drug or substance that can be used for abortion. I wonder if that includes bleach, right? I mean, so you can take poison.
Yeah.
Make providing information about abortion unlawful, including via a website or a phone call, and require, this is the one I didn't know, require public school students to watch a propaganda video called Meet Baby Olivia, produced by an anti-abortion group, Live Action. So what I want to do today is play clips from this 9+ hour hearing. I want to focus on what did the people say who got there to testify. It was 9 hours long. I did not get to watch all 9 hours. I tried.
Okay.
Far too long, but I've got a ton of clips that were representative of what was shown that day. The first thing I want to start off with is Senator Richard Cash. He's one of the co-sponsors, probably the lead co-sponsor of this bill. And then it included two other senators, our Billy Garrett from here in Greenwood, and I think the other one is Rex Rice, if I have the names correct. 3 male sponsors of this bill. So here is Senator Cash to kick things off.
We're waiting on a few senators. While we wait for them, let me just make a few opening comments. First, very aware of the controversial nature of the bill, and the people who are here, either for or against the bill, have very strong opinions and feelings about that. Having said that, let me help you understand this is a Senate hearing, and we will maintain decorum. There's to be no clapping, outbursts when people are speaking, and anything of that nature. If there is, security will address that.
So Senator Cash talks about rules of decorum. And do you remember Senator Cash was the same guy who showed decorum on the Senate floor when he brought props of a uterus
Yes, he did.
to the Senate floor. Now, you're not allowed to bring props.
That's right.
But he brought models of a uterus to the Senate floor, and Senator Margie Bright Matthews had to call him out on that.
That's him.
But this is the same guy that wants decorum in his hearing.
Rules don't apply to them.
No. Rules for thee, but not for he, right? Second clip. This is the first bit of public testimony. And so the way they did it is they alternated. One who's for the bill, one who's against the bill. And they kept it going at a good pace, always making sure to have one for and one against. The first one came from a guy named Trent Still. And this is pretty much how the entire for side proceeded to testify. Okay. So this is very exemplary.
The prophet Isaiah says, "As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee, cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths." This verse of Holy Scripture reveals that it is a curse for children and women to lead a people, especially the Lord's people. One could also argue that women rule as well, even if not physically, they do so psychologically. It is undeniable that sinful empathy, or ungodly and misguided sympathy towards women, drives the wrong decisions that bring us here today. Here
is Mark Correll, and he has a very similar message. And his message was, again, common to what most of the pro-323 testimonies were about. Here's Mark.
Good morning. My name is Mark Correll. I'm the president of Equal Protection South Carolina. I'm a father and a pastor.
Oh, and I did want to point out, and you called it out, Senator Shealy in the background right behind him. So let's remind our audience who Senator Katrina Shealy is.
She was the one that her own party put up opposition against because she was one of the 5 sisters that went, the senator sisters that went on the chopping block to protect women's rights.
Lifelong Republican,
yes,
senator for many years,
wrote
did a lot of good deeds.
Wonderful post about she didn't leave the party, her party left her. Yes. Wonderful.
I think they won a Profile and Courage Award.
So she's standing behind this guy, and keep an eye on Senator Shealy, as a matter of fact. I want to point that out as this guy speaks.
Okay.
We're encouraged by the sentiment of this bill and the bill author's passion to end abortion. We believe murdering anyone should be illegal for everyone. However, we believe that there are 2 ways in which this bill must be strengthened for us to give it our full support. First, the bill should be amended to protect all children beginning at fertilization, not from the moment of a clinically diagnosable pregnancy. Second, this bill should also be amended to provide preborn babies the absolute equal protection of South Carolina laws. Now, even though if this bill is enacted would become America's strongest anti-abortion law, it will not establish the equal legal protection for all preborn babies. Failing to treat the murder of preborn children as homicide in the same way that we treat homicide of born persons violates God's law, the U.S. and state constitutions. Finally, I want to strongly urge each of you to repent with me. Repent of our apathy on the issue of child sacrifice. Repent of not establishing biblical justice for the thousands of babies being killed legally under the bills that you have passed. Abortion will only be abolished when there is sweeping repentance across this subcommittee, across the Senate, the House, and the governor's mansion. Lastly, I just want to remind the committee that there are 2 Republicans sitting here today that were on the wrong side of the issue, and they lost their seat. Thank you.
Wow. Did you see Senator Shealy, who was sitting right behind him, when he called her out like that?
Yeah.
She almost tossed her papers at him.
Wow.
Listen, this is one of those episodes you have to go watch on our YouTube channel right now.
Mm-hmm.
The visual is incredible. The look of disgust on their faces in the background. But basically, he is calling for any woman who gets abortion or aids in one for the death penalty should be treated as murder.
What would they like to have happen to the male that helped fertilize that egg that became that embryo? Is that in anywhere in that bill? Flip the pages.
You know what I'm also finding very pointed here is that there are, I think, 3 men in the entire background. It's all women, basically. But they've got a man up there talking about it.
It's always the man that makes the rules.
I will state this. I watched the first hour or so of this, and the first 6 to testify were all men in favor of the bill, and the 6 opposing were all women. But it is something that the first people to sign up in favor were all white men like that.
Okay, here I go. You know, I go too far sometimes, and I know I'm on a time crunch. But here's what I see. This is this old way of thought to where the man controls, as the head of the household, the woman. The man owns the woman. So when they stand up to talk, that is what I get from them. They are trying to tell that woman what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let us tell them what to do. Put that in the bill. I got suggestions.
Here is Tori Nardone of WREN, and that's the Women's Rights Empowerment Network.
I can't even take a conversation serious about sex when we're looking at those 3 men across the top of that platform. Who is going to consider anything that would accidentally reproduce? And these are the ones that's going to lead the bill.
My goodness.
Okay, let me get to go ahead.
Just for housekeeping purposes, when you approach the mic, if you would first just state your name and say speaking for the bill or speaking against the bill so that people who are watching online will know.
Tori Nardone, speaking in deep opposition to this bill. Hello, my name is Tori Nardone, and I'm here to voice my strong opposition to Senate Bill 323, a total abortion ban with no exceptions that puts IVF and contraception at risk and criminalizes women seeking basic health care. The fact that I have to stand here today and beg you to stop this cruel bill breaks my heart. Women should not have to beg for basic human decency. You know what this bill does. I'm going to tell you what it means. This bill means a woman or child who has been raped would be forced to carry a pregnancy against her will. This bill means families who rely on IVF could lose their chance to become parents. This bill means anyone who helps someone get an abortion could face prison. This bill means a woman miscarrying could be denied care, her life put at risk. This bill means that a woman like me who received the worst news of her life, that her child had a fatal fetal anomaly and was going to die no matter what, would be forced to carry that child, holding on to false hope while needlessly suffering physically, mentally, and emotionally. Even under current restrictions, I was denied the care I needed. After hours of painful procedures just to prove my diagnosis, I finally begged the doctors to stop. If that's the reality now, I don't want to imagine what a woman would endure under Senate Bill 323. It's already hard to justify being a woman, a mother, and raising a family in a state that completely disrespects and disregards your well-being. This bill will be the straw that breaks us. This bill will drive women, mothers, and families out of the state. This bill will leave South Carolina in shambles and set a dangerous precedent for the rest of the country. For the sake of every woman in this state and everyone who loves them, I beg you to please stop Senate Bill 323. Thank you.
That is a powerful way to open it up, and I think she encapsulated it perfectly.
Well done.
Here is Professor Deborah Billings, and she is an OBGYN, and she was going to fact check that baby Olivia video. I want to talk about that for a second. Let's watch.
In the time that I have, I want to focus on Section 5 of S323, a small but significant section that amends Section 593230 of the South Carolina Code, specifically referring to the 1988 Comprehensive Health Education Act, or CHEA. For several years, I was part of an effort to amend the CHEA to add the simple but significant clause that what is presented to our youth in schools, elementary through high school, is medically accurate. Common sense, right? That amendment was consistently rejected. And here's why this is significant. Section 5 of S323 would mandate the presentation of a high-quality computer-generated rendering or animation of the Meet Baby Olivia video created by Live Action, an extreme anti-abortion, anti-birth control, anti-IVF group whose agenda has no place in our taxpayer-funded schools. Section 5 also states that the Attorney General may bring civil action for a writ of mandamus to compel a public school district to comply with showing the video. There are no specifications for parents opting out of this content, an option that parents can now practice for the most basic educational content related to human growth and development. So much for parental rights, right? Something that many of you speak out about time and time again.
She did it. She did it.
Yep,
she did a good job with that one. Now, I like that.
Good. Well, you're not going to like this next one. This is Matt Brock, the Executive Director of Equal Protection South Carolina, and he gives a warning to the lawmakers that are sitting in front of him.
Good morning. Matt Brock, Executive Director at Equal Protection South Carolina, speaking mostly in favor of the bill. I want to encourage you to be bold, to be courageous, and to be consistent, and I would urge you to do that by amending this bill so that it treats every single human in the womb equally by affording them the same measures of protection and the same measures of justice that each of you and everyone behind me deserves this morning and enjoys this morning. S323 is certainly a step in the right direction, but it still falls short of providing equal protection and equal justice to our preborn neighbors. And so while you're going to hear a lot of people here today tell you that this bill goes too far, I'm here to tell you, according to the Word of God, S323 doesn't go far enough. I also want to remind you today that you are God's chosen ministers of justice, according to Romans 13. And as His ministers of justice, your primary concern should not be what your constituents think of you or whether you can keep your seat in the next election. Your primary concern should be, is God pleased with me in my duties according to what He has revealed to me in Scripture, and am I dealing with child sacrifice in the way that He has ordered me to do?
Child sacrifice.
That guy's a parody. There's no way.
No, he was typical of just about every male that got up there. They were pastors, they were religious, they were Bible quoting, and they wanted death penalty for women who were going through some of the worst moments of their life.
Just like Jesus would have wanted.
It was 9 hours of that. It really was. And then it was the other side begging to be left alone and to put this horrific legislation away. That's what we're up against.
That's that master mentality.
Yeah.
I love the name Equal Protection South Carolina, too. It's because you can bet that they don't care about equal protection for a lot of other groups.
You can bet that.
Yeah.
You can bet that. So what happens if we're talking equal protection and he said afford the rights that we have? So what happens to the embryo? Are the parents able to get insurance coverage that's necessary because they're cutting Medicaid benefits? Family planning helped with a lot of the things that would be necessary. You cut the funding there. So how do you want people to be able to take care of that unborn child?
It doesn't get counted in a census. It doesn't get counted for any CHIP benefits.
So what are you
Nothing.
doing? That is another way of producing and not having a record of or being able to factor into what will offset the budget.
Here's a medical perspective on this bill from Dr. Natalie Gregory.
I'm Dr. Natalie Gregory, a board-certified OBGYN, practicing in the Low Country of South Carolina since 2008. I graduated from medical school at MUSC in 2004, and for the past 18 years, I've dedicated my life to providing compassionate, comprehensive, evidence-based care to the women of South Carolina. I'm also the only OBGYN on the Board of Medical Examiners in the state of South Carolina. Shame on Senators Cash, Rice, and Garrett for introducing this legislation. First and foremost, let's discuss the standard of care. As a dedicated OBGYN, I am faced with a legal minefield. The standard of care I am obligated to provide is in direct conflict with the law as it stands. Providing contraception, managing pregnancy loss, in vitro fertilization to grow families, or IUDs to prevent them. Discussion of any of these could have me charged with a homicide, 30 years in prison. Am I allowed to teach my students the normal female reproductive physiology and the pharmacokinetics of the medications that we use to manage those? I have a Hippocratic oath. I adhere to my own personal moral and ethical responsibilities, and I will not be able to comply with this law. My medical training does not allow it. We're already facing a shortage of OBGYNs in South Carolina, and it's untenable to expect quality medical professionals to practice in a climate where their careers and their freedom are at stake. I have a patient standing here with me who was denied the care that she needed, not for an abortion, but for general health care, and abortion access is health care.
So you can't go wrong with that. She's a doctor. You got to listen to the doctors, right? They go through the training. But we're not about expertise. We're not about listening to any of this. No. This next one comes from a lady you've seen before, but you're not going to know where you've seen her. So let me pull this up and then I'll pause.
Okay.
So you can try to identify her. This is Carrie Gifford. This lady right here is the one that she was at another hearing in the House where she looked at Representative Justin Bamberg, wished him a happy birthday, and then said, abortion affects your race. Remember that?
And Justin said, ma'am, my mom's white.
Right? That was her.
Okay.
That was this lady right here. So let's listen to what kind of nuttiness she has to share.
I'm Carrie Gifford from Greenville. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. We've all heard the talking points on this issue, so I want to offer something different for my 2 minutes. A powerful solution that neither side has fully embraced, but that I think can bring more healing and unity to all of us than we realize. Names for this are knowledge-based fertility appreciation, natural family planning, restorative reproductive medicine, charting, and various methods such as Creighton, naprotechnology, and Billings. This is a new field of medicine for the healing and health of women's and men's reproductive systems and for natural ways to avoid and achieve pregnancy. It is effective, healthier, cheaper, and easier than currently dominant artificial methods.
So basically, she was against current medical birth control.
Yeah, she just wants a holistic approach, something else that's more natural.
Yeah, like if you prayed hard enough, you won't get pregnant, or she's into some weird holistic hoodoo. So she's in support of this bill because it would cut out a lot of the medically accepted practices of birth control.
I don't think you can be in support of this bill the way it is. Like people who are saying, I'm in support of the whole bill, I don't know how you're able to do that.
You got to watch all 9 hours, and you can find people are in support of it.
Even there's the part about disallowing doctors from even discussing it.
Yeah.
And how is that not a violation of the First Amendment?
Exactly.
And the state of South Carolina in our Constitution has freedom of speech protection.
And the doctor mentioned a good point. I hate that I got it. She mentioned a really good point when she mentioned that South Carolina was already on the back end of trying to staff OBGYNs. And you think about the malpractice, nobody's talking about this, but the malpractice rate that anybody who's doing invasive, so anybody who's actually making incisions is already high enough. But from the field of OBGYN, who is going to insure them knowing that there's a potential that they will be sued?
Right. Hey, I've got only 2 more clips. You got time for that?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. This next one is Katrina Shealy herself.
Okay, yay.
Let's hear her speak. And then I also want you to look in the bottom right corner of this clip.
Okay.
See if you recognize somebody.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'm ready.
Emily Mayer. Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'm advised that Ms. Mayer had deferred to Senator Shealy.
How cool was that? Let's just start with that.
Look at Cash face.
Yeah. Do I have to?
Oof. Yeah.
But right. Emily Mayer, friend of the show,
yes,
got on the early part of the list, and she gave up her spot so that Katrina Shealy could have it.
Emily.
And they allowed it. So here we go.
To speak in this spot.
Thank you, committee, for allowing me to speak. I'm here in opposition of S323.
I'm going to pause. Who do you see in the bottom right?
I see Heather.
All right. Heather Bauer came in support. So yay for her.
And that look on that face said, y'all don't want none of this.
Giving a little side eye.
The Unborn Child Protection Act. Senate Bill S323 is a dangerous piece of legislation that threatens the health and safety and fundamental rights of South Carolina's women, girls, and families. This bill is built on punitive measures, not compassion. It promises to unleash a wave of negative consequences that will ripple through our communities for generations. This bill's most jarring and cruel aspect is a complete removal of exceptions for rape and incest. It sends a chilling message to victims and their trauma and bodily autonomy are irrelevant. By forcing a survivor to carry a pregnancy to term from a heinous crime, the state inflicts further trauma and strips them of their fundamental right to control their own bodies and futures. This provision stands in stark opposition to the principles of justice and human dignity. This bill's provisions threatens to criminalize health care itself by redefining terms and removing protections. It puts doctors in an impossible position, forcing them to choose between their medical oath and their new criminal penalties. A chilling effect will be created where doctors may hesitate to provide standard care out of a fear of prosecution for the accidental or unintentional death of an unborn child. This will drive talented medical professionals away from our state and endanger the health of pregnant women and their children. The repeal of the judicial bypass process is a direct assault on the safety of minors. The vital process currently allows viable young persons to seek a judge's permission for an abortion if they cannot safely involve their parents, who may be their perpetrator. Removing this option forces a minor to seek either a dangerous back alley procedure or carry a pregnancy to term against her will, potentially causing her to remain in a perilous environment. This policy, I'm going to take my senatorial privilege here. This policy prioritizes a political agenda over a child's well-being and safety. The bill introduces...
Excuse me. Your time is up.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say something because my name was invoked earlier, and I'm going to go over here, and I want to remind each of you that y'all were elected to do what is right, not what will get you reelected. And since these gentlemen reminded me that I was not reelected, I want to remind y'all that I did the right thing on legislation just like this, and I see security coming to get me, but I'm going to sit down. But thank y'all for allowing me to speak.
Wow. You can tell she's had some thoughts about this, and she's not over having lost that primary because of her position on these bills.
Yeah, she stood up, and every woman that represented or was a part of that party that did not come to her defense ought to be ashamed of themselves. Mm-hmm. She put her career on the line to protect them and their children, and they slapped her in her face.
This last clip, I think, speaks for us all.
Next speaker is Cora Webb.
Cora Webb, and I am against the boundary, quote unquote, of S323. I am against the banning of routine and medically necessary procedures, such as abortions. I'm mostly against the begging and groveling for access to health care. To Senators Cash, Wright, and Garrett, you. You bitches are demonic and ruining lives and sentencing folks to bleed out on a cold table.
They cut her mic off.
Keep
watching.
No, come on.
She's still talking, but they cut her mic off. And they brought security guards to drag her out, and they just cut off the feed.
Shout out to that young lady, whoever she is. Shout out to her.
They went into executive session.
As they should have, but she got that ass. I appreciate her. Yeah.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Black, White, and Blue in the South. We hope you enjoyed what you heard today. Please take a quick minute and leave us a rating and a review of our show. We really want to know what you think. Your reviews drive search engines and make us more visible to new subscribers. If you do, we will try to incorporate all 45 forbidden words and phrases published by that Third Way think tank in our next episode. We want to thank Jonah Cooley for spending time with us today.
Thanks,
you
Jonah.
really elevated this show.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
Thank y'all.
And we wish you the best in your efforts. If there's anything we can do to help you out over in Lander, let us know. We want to share meetings, share anything. You just drop us a note.
And look forward to 2030 when I run against Joe Wilson.
Yay.
We will say that we knew you win. If you're a blue dot in a red sea, keep the faith, keep up the hard work. Change only happens over many years of work and dedication. It's only fair that we end our show today with a quote from Nelson Mandela. In light of the younger voice being with us today, he said, "The future belongs to our youth." As some of us near the end of our political careers, younger people must take over. They must seek and cherish the most basic condition for peace, namely unity in our diversity, and finding lasting ways to that goal.
Yeah. All right. The end.
The preceding podcast is solely owned by its host or hosts and is distributed by Big Media LLC. Copyright 2025, all rights reserved.